So I have calves brains. That's an easy one for me. I've been doing it for 30 years. It's a great dish. It's very classic in French cuisine. And they're delicious. They're lovely. I can't eat them anymore. I can't eat the calves brains. I can't eat any kind of organ meat. I can't eat anymore because I suffer from a tremendous amount of uric acid buildup, so I have gout. But calves brains are lovely. I think they're nicer than sweetbreads because they have a really, really creamy texture on the inside, and they pick up a nice crust. And they're very versatile. They're just misunderstood. People get very squeamish. They think of Hannibal Lecter. They think of, science experiments and, cows on torture chamber walls. It's ridiculous. So this is what they look like when they come into me. As you can see, they're almost reddish. They look very much like sweetbreads. And, you can tell it's a veal product. You rinse them off, you soak them in milk, and then you can go ahead and prepare them any way you like. What I choose to do is prepare them in sous vide so we get that nice supple texture. These I do in slices, sweetbreads I do in nuggets. So at this point they're fully cooked. And they have just a beautiful aroma. You could actually smell that they have that beautiful herbaceous and garlicky accent, which is just lovely. It's a very European style ingredient, there's no question about it. American chefs are picking it up and they're starting to run with it because it's obscure and it's trendy to use ingredients that people aren't familiar with and people haven't tried before, and it's very exciting. And a lot of it to me is media bait, but I don't do that here. But I did them at Maxime's and I did them at Le Francais, and I especially have a large population of Russian customers that come in from the Wheeling area and Buffalo Grove, and Eastern Europeans love that style of cooking. This is a pretty classic way to prepare them. Sauteed in brown butter. Anything sauteed in brown butter, you can prepare an old shoe in brown butter, and it's maybe not tasty, but definitely edible. And any little pieces that fall off these slices, it's great because it's a little tasting for the chef. I'm never shy with butter. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Any residual butter you have in the pan, we're going to drain off, and then we're going to start the sauce from the fond. Once the butter starts to turn brown, like this is beurre noisette, and you have that beautiful hazelnut aroma. It's the aromatics of hazelnuts, of toasted hazelnuts. It's beautiful. Beyond this is beurre noir. It's burned butter. It's a whole different dish. So we're going to go with the presentation side first, and we go back on the stove. We want to keep these medium so that they're still creamy on the inside. If they're fully cooked, they're overcooked, they become grainy, and the texture is off. They're not very forgiving, so you're not going to have a lot of chance to move them around. So you get one flip and that's it, you're out. And because it's unsalted, we're going to pay attention to the seasoning, but we're also going to take into consideration we're adding capers, which are brined. So we just have some dried capers straight from the jar. And these are toasted hazelnuts. I'm going to chop roughly. First we take the calves brains and put the nicer piece on top for the presentation. Then we're going to take the sizzling capers and hazelnuts right at the top. Side, just so we have a little contrast with the plate. Then we do a little of these beautiful, fragrant, citrus-spiked tangerine microgreens. And we're going to top it with a little flower of garlic chive. It's a beautiful presentation. It's a beautiful dish, and you could see that they're just supple and they're creamy, and there's no connective tissue, and they just fall apart in your mouth, and they yield to the fork. They yield to a spoon, and that combination of capers and toasted hazelnuts and the brown butter and those tangerine greens, it's quite exquisite. And that's all you're getting from me. Back in the day, we were both kind of notorious for being a little bit insane. Sometimes a lot insane, depending on the night and what happened the day before. And he's just a very talented cook. I mean, I respect him as a chef, but I respect him just as much as a cook, and that's something to be said because not every chef still cooks.